Ladies and gentlemen of Knucklehead Nation, welcome to the official Fighters Rep 24 preview. I'm your host of Fighters Rep Fez, alongside my esteemed colleague, represented for that 305, my brother, Gary Ignorant Behavior Martin. Gary, how are you doing today, bro?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Good, man. I appreciate you jumping on this with me. I feel like when we do things together, it allows me to kind of think about it in better ways. You bounce questions off of me. I bounce questions off of you. You take a look at these fighters. Give me your opinion. I like it, and I feel like we can get more in depth with this. So I appreciate you doing this with me. And I want to say something, Gary. This card, man, this card is crazy. Gary, like, I feel this way about so many of our cards, obviously. I mean, maybe because I'm the promoter and I'm biased. But I look at the names on this card, Gary. I look at the names on this card and the history that some of these guys have in the state of California, and especially at Fighters Rep. And I say to myself, holy shit, are the fans in for it on this Fighters Rep 24 card, Gary? And I mean, I'm telling you, like, there are fights on this card, right, that I think by themselves would be worth the $50 price of admission, which is ridiculous that it's only $50 for something like 18 fights, which is what we're sitting on now, card subject to change. But when you put them all together, it's just an absolutely ridiculous night of fights. So let's just get right into it. It's going down June 8th at the beautiful Commerce Casino, a venue we absolutely love, Gary. And I feel like you're frozen. Gary, you there?
You got me?
Okay, you're back. And Joseph Clay comes in here. He says, "What's up, fellas?" You're
What's
back.
up?
So let's get right into it, Gary. Let's get right into it. But just to let people know, it's June 8th, the beautiful Commerce Casino, Fighters Rep 24. Tickets at FightersRep.com. If it's got a hotel attached. So there's no excuses. Wherever you are in the world, you could come in and watch. But if you can't make it, wherever you are in the world, you could join the channel on YouTube and watch it for just $9.99. Cancel any time. And here we go, man. Here we go. So I want to get into it. First one, and this is not the order of the bouts. The order's at random. But the first one we're going to talk about is Andrew Gutierrez out of Hard Works, Coach Hung, taking on Ruben Muro out of Blackbeard Kickboxing, Coach Jason Caldwell, at 135 pounds. Now, we haven't had, Gary, Andrew Gutierrez compete for us before. We've had Ruben Muro compete for us multiple times, and the kid is not only skilled, but he's an absolute dog, man. I mean, this is a kid that just embodies everything SoCal, bro. Everything that you think about a tough SoCal boy, this kid embodies it. He's got skill. He's got power. He's got a really big dog in him. Really big dog in him. And he's taking on Andrew Gutierrez, who, even though hasn't fought for us before, I'm excited about, not only because he's coming out of Hard Works, Gary, but this is the only guy that I know of, and it happened in a Muay Thai fight, not in a kickboxing fight.
Mm-hmm.
This is the only guy I know of that's taken Jason the Gator Granado 5 rounds in a fight. He's the only one that survived 5 rounds with the guy and gotten through to hear the unanimous decision for Granado, the judge's decision. So these are two monsters at 135 pounds, Gary. These are two guys always, I would say, are going to be at or near contendership at all times. And this is a fight I'm very excited about.
Yeah, no, I seen Moro. He's a dog. He got that dog in him, and it's gonna be, it's gonna be an exciting fight. I don't think you're being biased. I mean, I just that the fights that you set up, it's kickboxing, is entertaining. It's rarely a boring fight because the action is always going. So most of these fights have action. If you're looking for action, that's what it's gonna have. And most of these fighters are coming in there because it's only 2-minute rounds. They're coming in there. It ain't no filling out process. It's coming in there, and you have to hurry up and get it done, because before you know it, the round's over and you're down a round. But yeah, no, I was watching Moro. He's like a little scrappy dog. He comes forward. So, I haven't seen Gutierrez. Who is it? What's his name again? I'm
Gutierrez.
sorry. Yeah,
Gutierrez.
Gutierrez. I haven't seen him. I tried to look him up to look at some of his fights, but I guess you say he doesn't fight on your promotion yet.
Right, right.
So yeah, I haven't. I don't really know too much about him, but I know if Moro's in there, he's gonna force whoever's in there to fight.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think Gutierrez is going to fight. Like I said, I mean, the only guy to take Granado the distance. He's now training out of Hardworks Fitness with Coach Hung, who happens to be our matchmaker out there in California. This is going to be a scrap, ladies and
So which
gentlemen.
fighters rep is this again? I'm sorry. I'm
24. This is
24.
24.
It's the 24th one. Yeah. All right.
So and you mentioned feeling out. There's no feeling out, man. You go into the Lions Den feeling out, you might be feeling your way into an ambulance if you feel out in the Lions Den. So shout out to all these fighters, man. Very brutal rule set. It's just a very brutal rule set. And these guys are the best of the best. And it's one shot can end the night in all of these fights. That's the beauty and the destruction of kickboxing, right? So the beauty and the ugliness. So that's
Yeah.
what it is. The next fight I want to talk about at 155 pounds. This one, Gary, this one is absolutely delicious, Gary. I mean, this one, this is like two really young prospects, and I'm talking about Mark Reels at a Systems Training Center versus Anthony Castaneda at a Classic Fight Team. These are two guys that are still way, way, way at the beginning of their careers, but are just so disproportionately good for the amount of fights they have, Gary. I mean, if I were to show you, I don't know if you've seen these guys, Castaneda and Reels, but if you look at their boxing, at their striking, if you look at their skills, you're going to say to yourself, that kid's only had a few fights. And I think it's because they've been training a long time, right?
Yeah.
But man, these kids are so skilled. Castaneda showed such beautiful boxing at the last Fighters Rep where he picked up the win in his Lions Den debut. He's fought elsewhere, but it was his Lions Den debut. Mark Reels also made his Fighters Rep debut at the last card. They were on the same card, also picked up a beautiful win. Both guys come from incredible teams, with Reels representing for Systems Training Center. Gary, you had guys like Christos Giagos from the UFC training out there, and Dima and all kinds of people with Coach Marcus Cole, and then Anthony Castaneda, of course, with Tyler Wombles' Classic Fight Team, freaking TJ Dillashaw, you got the Paez brothers out there, all kinds of people have trained there. Amazing fighters, guys that I really admire. I'm so excited about this fight. It's almost like I look at it from the mainstream perspective, and you typically don't see guys fight each other this early on that are this good. You know what I mean? This is like the anti-boxing. This is almost like completely anti-boxing, but because it's amateurs, I feel like it's great because these guys are going to get the best experience. I mean, think about it as like it's almost like a Ryan Garcia versus a Devin Haney in the amateur. That's kind of
I got you. Yeah.
And then the other thing I love about this matchup today, it just came to my attention, is Reels' dad was a pro boxer. Like Reels' dad was a pro boxer, bro.
You know what? That's crazy because I was watching Reels and I was like, I really like his boxing. He got really good hands. I mean, don't get me wrong, he got good kicks and everything, but I was looking at his stand up with his boxing, and I'm like, yo, I like the guy's boxing. He's really good with the boxing, especially that right. I believe it's his last fight. He kept landing that right over and over again.
Yeah, and as far as, and you're right about that, right? I mean, that's I'm like amazed that you pay attention to this kind of shit. I love it, and and that's why we do this shit together. And for me, they both have, it's almost like very natural to them to be a fighter, right? You see Castaneda, dude, he came out in his debut, Gary. He looked like he'd been fighting his entire life. And Reels was the same, you know what I mean? And his dad's a boxer. And Castaneda had this calmness about him. Like this was nothing for him.
Oh, no, Castaneda, he was really like composed, walking forward, and he has power too, though.
Right.
He has power. So and he's walking down undeterred, and he's gonna put that pressure on you. But the crazy part is Mark Reels is the same way because I think both of them last time they fought fighters that were taller than him, and so they were getting inside and they were coming inside and they were catching it. So that's gonna be another firefight.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Listen, and I love Castaneda's demeanor. I love Castaneda's demeanor because he's so cool and collected about fighting. It's like very natural for him. I like that. And it's like nothing bothers him. But then I love Mark Reels's as well because, like his father, what you see in the video, he's arrogant. You know what I mean? He's
Yeah,
almost like an Eric Morales or something. You know, if you hit me, I'm going to hit you back harder. If you think you can get me, you can't get me.
yeah, 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 yeah.
He expresses that in the way he fights. And that's why I'm so excited about this fight. Guys, California, trust me, Vegas, everybody on the West Coast, get your tickets for this event, man. I'm telling you, it's going to be absolutely nuts. Speaking of absolutely nuts, Gary, the next fight I want to talk about at 160 pounds. And I almost had to go and ask my doctor for an Ozempic injection when I saw this because my blood pressure was going crazy. And I'm sure being a fat ass right now is not helping. Majali Gay out of Bangkok style Muay Thai.
Jolly.
You saw what he did in that last fight.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Couple fighters reps, bro. Taking on a guy who also has fought at Fighters Rep in the past, and I think is also another kid that's, if he keeps his nose to the grindstone, is on his way to something special. Jonathan Montoya, absolutely two dogs. I mean, these guys are experienced. These guys are brutal. These guys never take a backwards step. They hit hard. Majali Gay's kicks are crazy. Jonathan Montoya's punches are crazy. I can't wait to see this fight, man. I mean, these are two guys I am so high on, and listen, win or lose, and that's the case for all these guys because, they're amateurs, but win or lose, man, I think both of these guys go on to do something special. But my God, what a fight, Gary. This is another one. This is another one that typically would not happen for another 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And we're getting this at the very beginning of their career. Nuts. This fight is nuts.
Well, the thing is because you the whole thing about it is because this is amateur, and this is the time to get in and fight the best and lose or win, and then like even in the pro level, yeah. in kickboxing and things like that, a loss, I mean, everybody loses.
Right.
And so it's not as serious as how they have it now in boxing. Because in boxing, everybody lost and you understood it. Now it's so nobody wants to lose. But in this fighting, and people may think we're exaggerating by the entertainment aspect. No, these guys go at it. This is the amateurs. These guys are trying to learn, get for their pro careers or whatever. And, and they go at it, man. It's Majali, he put on the show last time he was in there, and he's a beast. So it's gonna be a very entertaining fight. I mean, do you think it goes to the cards, or do you think somebody gets stopped?
Anything can happen. These guys go so hard. And by the way, shout out to Champions BJJ coach Javier Garcia, who's going to be in Montoya's corner. Forgot to mention them. But these guys go so hard, Gary.
Yeah.
Pretty much everybody on this card goes so hard. And, that's this fight I don't think is going to do to a decision unless it's possible because they're so durable. These guys are so durable that they could potentially survive each other's wrath, right, over the course of 3 rounds. And we talk about amateurs in kickboxing being 2 minutes. Listen, the pros are only 3 minutes, and these guys are so experienced. They're better, I think, than a lot of pros. I'll just say it the way I feel it, right? The amateurs that I've grown, especially in California, are training with pros at some of the best gyms in the world. It just is what it is, Gary.
Yeah.
They're training with pros at some of the best gyms in the world, and they're probably better than most pros a lot of the time. It's because kickboxing, I guess, isn't that popular yet. Obviously, I think the majority of the pros in California will be better, but there's amateurs. I mean, this is like the college football of fighting here, because they're not wearing gear. A lot of these guys are not wearing gear because they have enough experience that they don't even wear headgear or shin guards. These guys are just fighting like pros, basically. So and they're training with pros. So you're going to see very high level, high quality fighters here. And of course, we plan to turn them pro. That's the whole thing of doing all these amateur bouts. But man, this fight here, this is, like I said, this is college football. This is all passion. This is all passion. This is crazy. This fight between Majalige and Jonathan Montoya by itself, bro, I think by itself is worth the price of admission. And I feel the same way about Muro Gutierrez and Rios versus Castaneda. I can't wait to see this fight. I don't know. I don't think it goes the distance because half of the fights don't go the distance at FightersRep. We're floating between like 40 and 50% stoppage rate because kickboxing is such a fucking brutal sport, Gary. It's so brutal. You know what I mean? That's why I respect these guys so much. But that's why I don't think it goes the distance. But especially with two guys like this, 160 pounds, they're probably coming at fight night 170 plus, big boys, 6 feet plus, close to 6 feet. I mean, I think Montoya for sure is over 6 feet or close.
Yeah.
Same with Majali. Yeah. I mean, they're close to my height. So these are big boys. They're not playing.
Majali seems a little bit more compact.
Yeah.
Montoya, he seems a little bit more rangier and everything, but he throws though. Yeah. He throws and I mean, it's gonna be a good fight. I mean, I think somebody gets knocked down. Now, maybe not stopped, but somebody gets either an 8 count or something like that. But it's gonna be that's gonna be explosive and very entertaining fight. I can't wait to see that one either.
100%. Next up, Andy Pena out of Heart and Pride Muay Thai, significant Muay Thai experience, Gary, taking on Sammy Brown Sugar Caceres out of California Mixed Martial Arts. That's Chad George's school. 137-pound fight. And Gary, Sammy's fought for us in the past. I want to say he pretty much started his fighting career with us and then went off to MMA. But the kid deep down has always been a striker. Yeah. He is also a striker too. He's a Muay Thai fighter. And Caceres, man, is another one of these. I don't know too much about Pena. But Caceres, I just know Pena is very skilled and has got a lot of experience. But Caceres has fought for us, so I know, he's another one of these California kids, Gary. Tough kids. He's just not going to back down. He fights on a lot of emotion. And he's going to have the crowd hype. And this is going to be another exciting fight between these two.
He's probably ready to get back to kickboxing after all that wrestling.
Yes, he is. And Pena's going to be right at home. I mean, more of a Muay Thai fighter, but still, he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to change much from Muay Thai to kickboxing. And so, this is the perfect rule set for them to go in there and settle it at 137 pounds. And this is going to be another fire starter, I think. I really do. I mean, I hate to say, I feel like I'm saying it for every fight, but that really is the level this shit has gotten to, man.
But for people who haven't seen the fights, whether it's online or in person or whatever, I mostly watched online. I will be there June 1st in Florida. I see you, Joseph, saying when I'm coming out to Cali. Hopefully sometime soon.
We gotta
hopefully sometime soon because I want to get there to the Lions Den. Oh, by the way, I got an idea. That should be called the Lions Den. Down here, this is Florida, baby. It should be called the Swamp, man. The Gators, man. Come on, man. It should be the Swamp.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny? Because Jason Gator Granado, he always calls it the Gator Pit. That's what he calls it. So he says it becomes his when he comes into the ring. So I think that's kind of funny that you say that. And Joseph Clayco, I think he's paying attention. This is a sleeper card. He says this should be one of the best shows and definitely one of the most stacked. Dude, this thing is stacked like like 5 guys, brother. This thing is stacked
Hey
like 5
George,
guys, bro.
I
Yeah,
don't mean to get you over your skis and start thinking too far ahead and everything. But somebody
yeah,
said Florida versus Cali. They're trying to start
bro.
drama, man.
Bro, and that is happening. That's happened on every card since we've expanded to Florida. I don't know if you've recognized that or not.
Hey,
We've
it's gonna be some trash talking.
had at least one fight in every card where we're flying a guy from Cali or from Florida. So that is an interesting Redstead. That is an interesting comment there. I appreciate
Well,
it. By
that's
the
it.
way, guys, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and join the channel. Go ahead.
Well, that's their best chance because they can't beat us in football. So,
Oh man.
nah, just
Next
stir
up,
it up. Just stir it up.
I know you love it. Next up, and since Joseph Claycomb's on the chat, this is fitting. Michael
Sugar bomb.
Claycomb out of Claycomb Karate with Coach Joseph Claycomb, the Sugar Bomb, taking on Reggie Abrasaldo out of Syndicate, Johnny Parsons Gym out in Las Vegas. It's another one of these Vegas boys coming into California. They never come easy. They're always tough. Reggie challenged for the title in Florida recently, and he came up short, but he put up a hell of a fight, and now he's coming out to take on Sugar Bomb, and it's going to be at 165 pounds. Sugar Bomb's coming off a very impressive knockout win in a Muay Thai fight. Reggie, the bigger, taller guy, Claycomb, the shifty, fast, speedy karate guy. I can't wait to see this fight, Gary. Abrasaldo kicks, he kicks like a mule. And we've seen now Claycomb, we've seen him drop someone with a spinning back kick to the liver in the Lions Den.
Yeah.
Recently, he knocked someone out with one punch knockout. So this kid's really coming into his own as well. And I can't wait to see this fight. I mean, every fight Sugar Bomb's in, it's never a boring fight, dude. It's never a boring fight.
Hey, yeah.
There's always some drama.
I mean, win or lose. I mean, hey, you gonna get something. You gonna get a knockout or something. I mean, and I don't really think you really want to, because of Sugar Bum's karate background. That's his strength of kicking. So if you want to kick with him, you know what I mean. He's lethal with those feet.
Yeah.
And the thing is that I love the kid, because win, lose, or draw, he comes back. He wants to be on the next show, and he wants to get better. And that's what I kind of, sometimes people in certain sports, like college sports, better than the pros because they feel like the kids want it more and things of that nature. Right. It's the same thing with the amateurs. You really see these kids. These kids are trying to have a dream, a goal, and they want to make it somewhere. So it's always great to see when somebody doesn't hang their head if they lose or anything. They come back out and they go get the win, get an impressive knockout win, and so you get back on the road. So I like that. I haven't seen much of Reggie as much as I've seen of Sugar Bomb, but hopefully it's a great fight.
Yeah, no, he had a great fight with Fernando Valdez, our champ here on the East Coast, our middleweight champ here on the East Coast, and he put up an impressive showing in coming close but losing that fight. And I think it's going to be a fantastic fight between him and Claycomb. I mean, it's the tall, sort of more Muay Thai style, kind of lumbering guy with a lot of power, taking on the fast, shifty kickboxer. He calls himself a karate fighter, but I like to tease him and tell him, hey, you're a kickboxer, brother. You've had more kickboxing than anything else, and that's what people know you for. That's what they love you for. So kickboxer Michael Claycomb, and as his dad will always point out, kickboxing is just full contact karate, basically. So shout out to them, and I can't wait for that fight. Next up,
go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead. No, I was gonna say I'm kind of curious to see how he does against a guy, with that length and kicks, and how he's gonna get. I know he likes to jump in and out that karate style. I'm just wondering how to see how that goes. So I'm interested in that fight too.
Well, it's great because, and shout out to Hung. He says, bang, bang, Niners. He's a fan of the Niners just like you, which is crazy. I hate both of you guys for being Niners fans.
Bang, bang.
But shout out to Hung because, he understands the purpose of Fighters Rep. He's our matchmaker, and he's putting these fights together the same way, I wanted, which is, let's get these guys the best experience possible so that when we get them to the next level, they've seen it all, they know it all, and they're just going to beat everybody's ass at the next level. That's what we want for our guys at Fighters
Yeah,
Rep.
yeah.
So shout out to Hung. And then Redstead says, and I knew it was him. He says, this is Tariq Redstead Wright. Thank you for having me on this next card. It's a pleasure, Tariq. We're going to be talking about your fight in a second here, but obviously we're excited to have you on as well. We appreciate you being in here and commenting. Next up, man, another big one, man. Another big one, another high-stakes fight at 137 pounds where we've got probably the most stacked division in all of Fighters Rep. I think at 137 where Jason Granado is the champion. And that's Ruben Avila out of Team Quest with a coach in his corner, Tariq Safeddin, Gary, the Lebanese homie who was also a Strikeforce champion and a contender in the UFC. And he's taken on, the Cuban Missile Crisis, Gary, Sergio Rodriguez out of the Beehive with Coach B, Joshua Fochman, an amazing team as well. I'm so excited about this fight. This is the tall, rangy Ruben Avila still coming into his own, coming off a loss, but a beautiful performance against Isaac De La Paz, where he gave, I think, De La Paz everything he could handle. And De La Paz is one of the best fighters right under Jason Granado at 137 pounds. And he's taking out Sergio Rodriguez, a guy who was supposed to fight for the title against Jason Granado, a guy with a ton of talent and speed and power. And both of these guys got a dog in them. Both of these guys have a chip on their shoulder. Both of these guys are super skilled. And I just cannot wait, Gary, I cannot wait for this fight, man.
Yeah, no, he's fighting that, like you said, Granado, obviously he's moving on. He's at the top of the hill. So you're looking at, he fought basically the best in the division.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And gave him all that he can handle. And so, I mean, you come off a loss. It's always good to see how a fighter responds off of a loss. If they improve, if they got better, or they're pretty much didn't improve, they're the same guy. It just is what it is. So, we're gonna see what changes and everything were made, and hopefully it's a great fight. Hopefully we get a knockout. We always looking for a knockdown.
100%. And listen, Rodriguez, I mean, besides the fact that Avila really made him name for himself and his stock really rose in that close decision loss to De La Paz, Rodriguez, we're lucky to have him back too, because he actually fractured his orbital bone in training leading up to the fight with Jason Granado. I wasn't sure we were even going to get this kid back, and he's already back. He's healed. He's ready to go. I think he's hungrier than ever. I think he saw his career flash before his eyes. And when that happens to a fighter, Gary, when that happens to an athlete, sometimes they level up. So both of these guys are leveled up. I think Avila found out something about himself in that last fight, that he belongs. And I think Rodriguez knows he belongs and knows that, hey, he's been given kind of a second chance here. I cannot wait for this fight, Gary. I'm telling you. Gary, I'm telling you, this card is nuts, man. This card is nuts, dude. We're flying your ass out to California, Gary. Next up, Gary, this is a holy shit for me, right? This one is a holy shit for me. These are two, and we just mentioned De La Paz. These are the two of the most experienced 137-pounders in California. So you could be talking about two of the most experienced 137-pounders in the country, Gary. It's Caleb Salazar out of LA Muay Thai, Coach David Huerta, Crew David Huerta, taking on Isaac De La Paz out of King Cobra, Crew Isaias Nambo. Bro, Gary, 137 pounds. I want to say 40-plus fights between the two of these guys, something like that. When this fight got made, I had to go kiss my wife, bro. When this fight got made, I told her, baby, we did it.
Hold on, that's all
Baby,
you
we
did?
did it.
Hold on, that's all you did? You just kissed her? No babies on the way? I see 50 plus fights between the both of
Hey,
them, but
hey, let me tell you, I'm trying to keep it PG here. Listen,
hey,
this
you didn't
fight.
need Viagra that night, did you?
Well, I don't never need that, but
Hey, I'm
I
just saying,
definitely
you look for an aphrodisiac. Just turn on kickboxing for George.
listen, Gary. But this fight, Gary, this fight, these
Yeah,
are the two, these are the two of the best guys, bro. These are
yeah.
two of the best guys, Gary. This is a fight that I think everybody in the community right now in California is saying, "Holy shit! How did Hung get that done? How did George get that? I can't even take credit for it. It's Hung. How did Hung get that done? Shout out, by the way, to Caleb taking this fight. He's coming off a bit of a layoff, but he's so experienced. And shout out to Isaac De La Paz, also very experienced, always down to challenge himself. This is the kind of fight that these guys are going to take in their amateur career that when they turn pro, Gary,
They
it's
may
going to be
fight again.
it's good, but it's going to be easy work for them in the pros if they keep taking fights like this in the amateur. That's what I'll say about it. That's how good of a fight this is going to be. These guys are skilled. These guys have unlimited heart. These guys are just next level, bro. Next
So
level.
would
These are two guys
so would you
I would
put this as
allow to fight pros.
would you put this as the top as probably the top fight or one of the top
You
fights
know,
for the card?
it's
Or
not
it's
a
tough.
title.
It's too tough.
It's not a title fight. The only reason it's not a title fight is because Granado still has the title. But if
Yeah.
Granado didn't have the title, I would 100% have to make this a title fight. I mean, that's how crazy this fight is. They've just got too much skill, too much talent, too much experience for me not to, to be crazy about this fight. It's almost, I mean, it's almost one of the top, it might be the top tier fight of the card. It really might be one of the top tier or the top tier fight of the card. It's crazy. And look, even Hung is saying it. Look, he's saying
Yeah.
50 plus. He's saying best fight on the card, I think. I mean, Hung, bro, Hung deserves whatever the hell he wants for making this
Well,
fight
he's
happen.
hung, so he's gonna get
Man.
whatever he wants.
No, he's going to kick my ass.
I couldn't resist it. I couldn't resist
Damn.
it. Sorry, hung. I had to.
You damn Niners fans. I can't stand you Niners fans. Anyway, I just can't wait for this fight. I'm so excited this fight's happening. You know what this is? This is an Ostarine injection for kickboxing. This is a big Ostarine injection. It's like one of these Ostarine injections.
Well, I'll say this. De La Paz, I haven't seen him fight. I haven't seen a fight with him that was bad, period.
Right.
Okay. He's
like
always
De La
game.
Paz. You like
Yeah,
De
I
La
like
Paz.
him. He's one of my favorites. I haven't seen much of Caleb, but looking at him, he seems like a very sharp kid. He's Muay Thai, right?
Yeah.
He's like a Muay Thai background, right?
Yeah.
He looks very sharp, powerful. So I'm ready to become a fan, Caleb. Show me something.
I think they're both going to show you something. And you know what? I get so nervous, man. When fights like these get made, I get so nervous, and I feel like this whole card is full of them. I'm gonna need like therapy. I'm gonna need like whiskey. I'm gonna need something on fight night because this is just too much for me to handle. It's
Well,
too
see,
much.
those are the best fights, though. Whenever I watch a fight and I'm at the edge of my seat and I'm a little nervous because I don't know which way this thing is going, those are the best fights, man.
Yeah. No, it's a card full of them. Next up, let's talk about. We'll save the title fights for a little bit later because my God, here's another one. Christian Zoller out of Vital Force, right? Coach Lamont McCurry taking on Joshua Caldwell, our former super middleweight champion. Christian Zoller's our former middleweight champion. Caldwell's our former super middleweight champion out of Blackbeard, coached by his brother, the great Jason Caldwell. Gary, this is a rematch. Rematch, and in the first fight, Joshua Caldwell ended it in the fourth round with a body shot.
Ooh.
Both guys have developed since then. These are two guys that are fighting at 179 pounds. Both of them are taller than me. I want to say both of them are taller than me at 179. They're going to be coming in probably 190 pounds. Lightning fast. They hit hard as shit. Crazy reach. I mean, this is going to be such a great fight, man. The first fight was a lot of fun, and always excited to have Zoller back. But Caldwell was gone for a while, and he's back, and I cannot wait to see Joshua the Crook Caldwell again, man. I just wasn't sure if he was coming back. I think he was doing some other stuff with his professional life. You know what I mean? Doing other things. So I was worried, man. This guy, for me, one of the most talented guys at super middleweight, was our champ. Got into a car accident. I said, oh, shit, are we losing this guy forever? This guy is back, man. And, he's fought everybody. And he's beaten everybody. I mean, he's just an amazingly talented fighter. And so is Christian Zoller. And I just can't wait for this fight, man.
I mean, they look actually, bigger than 190. I'm not gonna lie. These like some big boys, and when you get them that big and they're throwing heat, so former champions. I'm waiting to see who's trying to climb back up that ladder.
Yep. Then we got Chavis Wilson from basically being coached by Ryan Long, taking on Luis Rodriguez out of CKD. They're going at it at 145 pounds. Chavis came up a little short against Alex Stowe. It was a war. It ended in the first round. He just got caught. He just got clipped in the first round. It was his first fight. But man,
Stowe's a tough fighter, though.
Yeah. But man, listen, he really, while it lasted, it was crazy. And you could see the talent there. You could see the speed. You could see the power. You could see he was in shape. He just got clipped. It was his first fight under the lights. He's taking on Luis Rodriguez, a guy who fought for us way back when we were in MMA promotion, but a guy who also very much preferred the striking and had really crisp, really good striking. So I'm really excited about this fight as well, Gary. We'll move on. And here's another one. I mean, we just mentioned Alex Stowe. Here's another one that I always think of Alex Stowe. It's Edgar Fraga out of Classic Fight Team, Tyler Wombles' team, taking on Ty Petralia, also out of Syndicate in Las Vegas, Johnny Parsons' team. Gary, Ty is coming off a loss to Hamza Trad, probably one of the best fighters in the community, hands down. But Ty was in there giving it his all, showed a lot of heart. He showed a lot of heart, and he didn't do too bad. I think he showed that he belongs in this Lion's Den. He's taken on Edgar Fraga, bro, who, I don't know if you remember, had that also a first-round war with Alex Stowe, but came out on top. He got rocked, and then he came back and finished.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that fight, yeah.
And this kid is just dynamite. This kid is just dynamite. I can't wait to watch this fight. Both of these guys are at about, the same part of their career at the very beginning still, but there's just so much potential here. Fraga is another one of these kids, as is Petralia, who does not know how to be in a boring fight. You cannot fight like Fraga and be in a boring fight. It just doesn't happen, Gary. It can't happen. You saw what happened with him and Stowe, and he's going to do that shit again. And
the thing about a guy like Fraga is he can get knocked down. He's not going to get deterred. He came back and won. I mean, it's don't think you catch him with a good shot or knock him down or something that he's going away. He's not going away. Right. He's a fighter.
No, he got hurt and he doubled down in that fight and got still out of there. So that just shows you what he's made of. He's serious, as is his teammate Castaneda, who we talked about earlier. They were at the open workout. These guys are serious about their career. And, I'm excited to watch Petralia and Fraga throw down, man, for sure. Next up, and we just talked about Hamza Trad being, probably the best welterweight we've ever seen in the Lion's Den. His brother at 155 pounds, Zane Trad, taking on Julian Bocadoro. Now, obviously, the apple doesn't always fall far from the tree. It is the father of the Trads that's training them in Jamel Trad. But I don't know anything about Zane. I know he's training, but he's never really had a fight. This is going to be his first fight. taking on Julian Bocadoro, who's a tough kid out of Paradox out there in Las Vegas. He's going to be cornered by Free Smoke McCary. And so he's not going to be a wimp because Free Smoke is not going to be in anyone's corner. That's a pussy.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. So this fight is going to be, I think, another one of these crazy wild card fights. And I think it's going to be a real good time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll move on to the next one. Tommy Huinsavath, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. He takes on Alexis Franco. Obviously, Tommy representing Evolution Muay Thai with Coach Joe Davidson, who's a legend in the California scene. And Alex Franco, coached by Daniel out of Sweet Science, a fantastic gym in its own right, typically known for more boxing. But ever since Daniel got out there, it's been, they've been doing more MMA, Muay Thai, kickboxing stuff. And, but the hands are going to be right because he's training around boxers all the time. So I think this is going to be a very exciting fight. Both of them have fought in the den before. Franco came up short, but it was by decision, and he woke up in the third round. I think it took him to the third round to really figure out what's going on here and to break out of that nervousness and really express himself as a fighter. So I'm excited to see him.
Was that his first fight with FightersRep?
It was. Yeah, it was.
Okay.
It was. And then Tommy got a very hard-fought win in his last fight, but he was creative. He was throwing spinning back fists. He was very active. And so I think this will be a very active, high-paced fight from these 235-pounders who are still very much at the beginning of their career. Next up, Gary, let's talk about Tariq Wright, who's in the chat. Shout out to Tariq. He's taking on Luis Campos. And Tariq's got Coach Joseph Okoroji. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I believe also out of Sweet Science. I could be wrong there, but let's just say Coach Joseph Okoroji. And he's taking on Luis Campos, a.k.a. Big Junior, out of King Cobra Muay Thai with Crew Isaias. Both of these guys have fought in the Lions Den before. Tariq has looked just really good, man. He's improving every time. Luis Campos, the one time he fought for us, also looked very good and very strong. These guys are 175 pounds, Gary. Both taller than me, bro. Easily. These guys are big. These are two big guys. And so I'm seeing big shots landing in this fight. Two very physically imposing guys. Both Wright and Campos look like they could be bodybuilders, bro. These guys are very physically imposing, and not in an ugly, compact way, but in a long, imagine like a Tommy Hearns type body type, but jacked.
Muscular.
But
jacked.
Yeah.
Holyfield jacked.
Right. So I'm really excited about these guys. I think this is going to be a banger. Both of them are excited to get the gear off. This is, I think, the last fight they're each going to have where they have to wear gear. And I think these guys are just going to tear it up and really show out for their two fantastic teams. Next up, at 210 pounds, right, is two guys I'm very excited to watch fight. Manuel Camarena, we haven't had him before, but you can tell by his, physique, his dedication, everything he posts online that he's ready for this and he wants this bad. He's been hitting us up forever for a fight. He's taken on Noche Nwolfor out of Team Victory with Coach Rod behind him. Listen, man, Noche, last time he stepped in the lines, then he finished his opponent inside of a round. These are two big boys, Gary, and I just don't see this one. This one probably doesn't go the distance either. Yeah, this one, I just don't see this one going the distance, bro.
Well, listen. You said it's like
not this.
It's like a 50% knockout ratio. So it's gonna be some of these fights that ain't going.
Somebody's got to go there. I just can't figure out who's gonna go the distance here. I don't. We could literally end up with all 18 fights going knockout on this night. Like that's how ridiculous this card is. It's possible. It's possible. Next up, let's chat about the title fights, right? Let's chat about the title fights. We've got an interim title at 127 pounds. The full title holder is David Marquez, but he's got other obligations. So we're putting up an interim title, and whoever wins this is going to fight him. He's going to fight the death dealer, Garrett.
Yeah.
Nathan Hawthorne out of Squirrel Muay Thai, who's a fucking
I remember him.
Fucking beast, bro. I mean, this guy's a champ in MMA. This guy's a champ in Muay Thai. and now he's trying to become a champ in kickboxing. I mean, could you imagine an amateur getting 3 championships in 3 different combat sports? Squirrel Muay Thai coach Cody Sessions taking on Tony Kath at a Team Oyama, one of the legendary teams in California. Some of the best UFC fight. I mean, Rampage is trained with Oyama, Tito Ortiz, you name it, Gary. And he's got Coach Romy Adanza behind him, who's basically like a Muay Thai legend down in SoCal. And Tony's good, man. Tony looked good in his last fight. Tony is freaking sharp, man. He looked great in his last fight. And I just cannot believe – I mean, I can't believe this fight's happening. Tony was out for a while. I wasn't even sure if he was going to be fighting again. The fact that he came back and looked as good as he did is amazing. He's coming off of a win. He's a bit older, but you know, you couldn't really tell. I mean, he's 39, but you couldn't really tell. He's in such fantastic shape. And I think it's great that he just came off a fight in the Lions Den and got a win, because I think that's great momentum for him. Hawthorne has fought for us in the past, but not as recently as Tony has, although he did recently have a fight in MMA where I think he came off a close loss. And I know he's hungry, bro. I know he's hungry to come win a title. And so, you know, this is another one, man. I mean, if you know anything about these guys, if you know anything about the sport, this is a must-watch fight, Gary. What's going on? We getting some sugar in the scene or what?
No. I was looking at some other stuff. Look up some other stuff.
You got it. But yeah, I mean, Nathan Hawthorne, Tony Kath for the interim 127-pound title. An absolute must-watch fight. And big high stakes, Gary. Big high stakes here.
I've never seen Kath. I've seen Hawthorne, and he's the beast. So I'm always excited to see some of these fighters. You know, since I've been on with you, that I haven't seen, like Kath. I haven't seen him. So it'll be interesting. Who's the bigger fighter, Hawthorne or Kath?
I think they're about the same size, man. I think they're about the same size, you know, but they're nasty in there. Hawthorne is a predator, man. Hawthorne is just a predator.
Yeah.
You know, he's just and Kath is just, you know, he's been doing this so long. I mean, it's just second nature for him. I can't wait to see the result. I can't wait to see what happens. I'm so excited about it. Next up, we said Florida versus California. And your wish is my command, Knucklehead Nation. We've got Xavier Hurricane Santana out of Bushido Gym down here in Miami. He's going to be cornered by Adric, who fought at the FightersRep in Florida, flying out to California to take on Michael Mook Mitchell out of Engaged Combat Sports with Coach Chris Manzo. It's going to be for the title at 153 pounds. Gary, man, Mook is the one that, you know, I don't know if you remember. I mean, he's looked fantastic in all his fights, but he's the one that fought Khalil Silva and won a decision there for us. The last time he fought for us, he fought Christian O'Brien, the Black Irishman, and got the win there and dropped O'Brien in the first round. You know, he's of Street Beef's fame. And Xavier Santana, a South Florida boy trying to go out there and get respect. And, you know, and Xavier's got a deep Sanshao background. Both of these guys are martial artists to the core, super respectful. But you put them in that Lions Den, and they just turn into animals. And I can't wait to see this fight.
And did Mook fight down here or in Florida or no? I'm trying to think. I'm trying to remember Mook. I can't off the top of my head remember him.
Yeah, no, he didn't fight in Florida, but I mean, he's fought for us multiple times, and he's always looked so good. He's always looked so good, very sharp.
I don't want to be biased, but I'm going for the Miami.
Well, I can't go for anyone, so I'm just moving off of that.
Yeah, I already know. Hey, I gotta stay home. Home team.
Yeah. Next up, I want to talk about the title fight at 142 pounds, because this is a big one as well. It's another guy out of Squirrel Muay Thai with Coach Cody Sessions. It's Evan Ortiz, a big, tall 142-pounder, and a guy who hasn't fought for us before, but I've heard nothing but great things about. I'm hearing that this guy's a real problem. He's very awkward. He's difficult to handle. He's taking on the tried and true, Gary, Aaron Hot Water Faucet. your favorite nickname. Um, Out of
Yeah,
Andrade
yeah.
Muay Thai in Vegas. You know, Aaron always brings it. Aaron always brings it. Aaron's got a lot of experience. Aaron's skilled. These guys have seen each other before at Muay Thai shows. I think these guys realized that we did a press conference with them. I think they realized that at some point they were going to have to fight each other. And here it is, Gary. It has manifested itself for a 142-pound fighters rep title. And this one's going to be a fucking banger, dude. This is Vegas versus California, Vegas versus LA. It's right here. Here we go, Gary.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, you know that's one of my favorite nicknames. He needs to have a catchphrase like, "You get in the ring with me, you're gonna be in hot water, brother."
Oh yeah, bro.
Yeah, oh yeah, you're gonna be in hot water.
The next up, and next up, and I believe this is the last one we're going to talk about, and this one is just wild. It's the first ever Fighters Rep female champion defending her 125-pound title. It's Connie Gonzalez out of Vital Force with Coach Lamancy McCurry taking on Sashanique Youngblood out of Blackbeard Kickboxing, coached by Crew Jason Caldwell. Listen, these are two of the baddest girls at 127 or 125 pounds, rather. Connie put up a hell of a fight. She showed to be one of the scrappiest fighters that I've ever seen in that fight against Nancy Tran when she captured this belt. You could tell that if she lost that fight, it wasn't because she left anything behind, dude. She left it all out there. And Sashanique Youngblood has a real reputation, and I've seen her really hurt people really bad. And I think this is going to be a fantastic fight because this is going to be two immovable objects, Gary, colliding. This is not going to be they're going to try to outwill each other if it gets to it. And I'm telling you, this is going to be crazy drama. If one can't get the other one out of there immediately, this is going to be crazy drama, Gary.
From the fights I've seen with the women in Fighters Rep, they go at it sometimes harder than the guys, man.
They do.
They're not trying to go to the scorecard, man.
No.
They go crazy in there.
Yeah. No. You're right about that. You're right about that. So that's the card. That's the 18 fights we have now. Of course, card is subject to change. People can be replaced. People can fall out. But we're hoping that doesn't happen. Regardless, get your tickets at FightersRep.com. You're not going to want to miss this card. There's just too many. Gary, there's just too many good fights on this card. It's just there's too many high-stakes fights on this card. There's too many futures on the line. There's so much talent. There's so many future stars to be born on this card. You guys absolutely got to grab your tickets at FightersRep.com. And if you can't, for whatever reason, you live on the other side of the world, you're fucking lame, your girlfriend doesn't let you out, your boyfriend doesn't let you out, you got to catch it on the YouTube by joining the channel. Just $9.99 a month. Cancel anytime.
I feel like you're talking about me, bro.
So we got some comments in here. I think back when we were talking about Caleb and Isaac De La Paz, Hung said national champ, 30-plus fights. Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy there. Sergio Rodriguez in the house. The Cuban Missile Crisis says, hola. What's up, Sergio? Appreciate you being in here. George Estrada, he's been a Fighters Rep knucklehead forever. Shout out to you, George. Appreciate you. We're doing well. Hope you're doing well. We appreciate you joining us. Hurricane Santana in here saying, let's go. Gary, he's getting excited about flying out to California to the West Coast to fight for a title.
Represent.
And Joseph Claycomb says, Evan will bring the intellect to the show. Fight IQ is Evan's middle name. So, knuckleheads, listen, we're almost an hour doing this. Gary, I really appreciate you. I don't want to keep you any longer from the old ball and chain, brother, because we know you got to get back to the ball and chain.
Well, I got to get back to some curry chicken and some rice.
Oh, shit. No way.
Yeah, I want some curry chicken.
Who got you that, bro?
Oh, I made it, brother. I make it. Yeah. I get a little messy, but I make it.
Wow, wow. You know, I went to Coral Square Mall today, and
Yeah.
they had a jerk grill there at the food court, and I was like, man, I wonder if they got curried goat or something. I didn't end up going, but it's like I was thinking about curry so much today. I was like, oh man, because that
You
stuff
know, the
is
only time I
good.
ate curry goat was in Jamaica. I ate curry goat.
Did
That
you
was the only
like it?
time. Yeah, it was cool. That was it. I think I like curry chicken better, but
Yeah,
curry goat was good. I got it. I didn't get it from like the hotel or anything. I said, take me to where they make it for
yeah,
real.
yeah. Let's go! I love it. I love it. Damn, we even get sugar on this episode. You gotta love it, brother. But yeah,
Yeah.
no, I'm a big fan of goat. I'm a big fan of lamb. I'm a big fan of all that stuff.
Oh
So,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I love
but
lamb.
anyway, Gary, I appreciate your time, man. Really, guys, if you haven't gotten your tickets to this, I mean, I'm just gonna say it like Joe Biden did, bro. If you didn't get your tickets to Fighters Rep, are you really a fight fan? You're not even a fight fan. I'm gonna I'm gonna get Gary. I'm gonna get canceled, Gary.
Nah, that was good. That was good.
All right, man. Well, we'll see you guys at the fights.
All right.
And hopefully Gary will come out to California and drink O'Doul's when he gets
Yeah.
out there.
Oh,
Thank you,
I don't know
Gary.
about drinking no duels, but all right.
Appreciate you. Have a good one, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
Thanks for joining us, guys.